Yeah! Happy Comic Book Day and welcome back all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are John and Charlie Rivera, the scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldava, the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy Comic Book Day.
Happy Comic Book Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please slime that like and or follow button and hit that comment section like it owes you money. John, I have a very simple question for you, and that question is, who you gonna call? And then that answer, because shut the fuck up, is us! It's us! Holy shit. Christmas came early. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed had me resetting up my X station. I am nothing if not totally goddamn obsessed when given the excuse to fucking strap a proton pack on my back, throw on my khaki flight suit, and bust heads in the most spiritual sense, but now I can do it from my lovely lazy boy.
You know,
John,
I gotta tell you, Charlie, you hit me up with this immediately. You're like, oh, we gotta get back on the sticks. Forget about Red Dead Redemption 2. They don't care about you anyway. The Ghostbusters shit it's 4 players co-op. One of the players gets to be a ghost. Blah blah blah. We're gonna get back to it, and I'm like all amped up. Why did we have to wear flight suits and get out the proton packs though? Like I just don't understand why was that necessary to play the game.
Commitment, John. A commitment to excellence, and in that regard, us and Spirits Unleashed have something in common because I'll just fucking spoil it right out the gate.
Spoil it.
That it feels as close to doing one of these weird charity events, like the way that the character moves feels like they're rocking 50 pounds on their back.
They got that weight.
There's just
weight
something
on their back, like a bad sexual decision back in high school. You're like, oh no, this is gonna haunt me for life.
I have no bad decisions in those situations. I was the Slimer. I was the bad decision.
You were the bad decision. I got that.
Correct.
I got that. All right.
What did you and I haven't played a game like this for freaking ever. You and I are not horror game aficionados. You and I aren't really shooter game guys. We're not first person game guys. When you booted it up, man, and you made your character looking just fucking delicious like you in real life, what were your initial thoughts?
You got the grays in there and the whole 9 yards.
Other than me talking over the tutorial, because I was in your ear like the world's worst sidekick.
Really important, pay attention to this. So anyway, for lunchtime, I took a ride, and it was foggy out. I'm like, yo, Winston is talking, bro. Fuck the shuck up.
What do I do with this PKE meter? I don't know.
I'm like, so wait. So ghosts are bad? Like, I don't understand. So being responsible for really introducing to most of Charlie's worst habits, I too am the first to fire up Ghostbusters for Charlie Boy. However, Charlie's real like his real addiction is like it went straight into the vein for Charlie with the cartoon.
Fuck yes,
Ghostbusters. They took like that shit had Charlie schooling me for maybe the first time in our brother career. And Charlie was like, yeah, so what happens is when a vampire bites a werewolf, they turn into a vampire. But yo, when the werewolf bites a vampire, he turns into a werewolf, son. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? And Charlie just pointed to the floor model encased in oak television that we had growing up in Brooklyn. My first impression for this game, I knew we were going to have to play this shit co-op, and I also knew I will be a level 1 to Charlie's level 151. However, I didn't know that it was going to be just as much of a throwback to the cartoon as it was the movies. It's like the first peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich Because really, I kind of got vibes from both the movies and the cartoons, which I thought was dope. The gameplay, I agree with you. I have volunteered for several events, maybe 1% of the lifetime that Charlie has spent in suit and in packs. But yeah, no, I agree with you. The moving around felt appropriate. I agree with you. Like, I feel like the developers like throw this on your back, walk around with it, run with it. This is what we need to replicate. The gameplay, the style, I love it.
There's a very like Ghostbuster shuffle that happens like 3 hours into an event where you're like right foot, right foot, and the game very much has like a shaka feel, which like I know that's not a great descriptor, that's a sound effect.
I disagree.
And if you're watching at home, it's
exactly what you meant.
But there's something about the way a Ghostbuster game, the goal is to make you feel like you're in the film, or more to your point, kind of involved in an episode of the cartoon. And I think those cartoon vibes come. One, it has a very cartoonish look overall. That's clearly
like a Fortnite aesthetic to it. But like I was describing it as like, imagine if the Fortnite characters, like, they did not skip lunch, which most of those Fortnite characters seem like they did. These motherfuckers were like the hobbits. They were like, it's time for second lunch.
Second lunch. Very meaty. You got to be a little meaty to be a proper Ghostbuster.
Saying, you know?
But as far as the gameplay goes, navigating between the PKE meter, your proton pack, your trap, eventually your ecto goggles, ironically, like the Ghostbuster community is like split on it, because no one's ever allowed to be all the way happy. So people are bitching about it, but those
as split on the game as they are regarding the 2016 Ghostbusters that Ellis clearly loves.
I am leaving the show. I am leaving this brotherhood.
Are you
and Ellis, I'm leaving this friendship.
To go watch the 2016 Ghostbusters
No!
again, like you did the premiere, or the next time that you went to see it in the theaters.
This is rude, and I want it stricken from the goddamn record.
Done. Strike.
There's only been one other game that made you feel like a Ghostbuster, and that was the last full budget Ghostbusters, the video game, that had a full narrative. It had a fun multiplayer mode, but this game, the thing it does that even that game didn't, it truly feels like I'm in the boots. Even with sometimes the frustration of like, I can't find this fucking ghost. We one of the last kind of at-bats we had yesterday, Ghost was just proper hiding. I just couldn't find that stupid pink looking monster.
Which time was this? This is one of the times where you were playing with other live players?
Yeah, it was with other live players, and some of them are really good at being a ghost, which I'm wildly envious of, but also I have no fucking desire to be a ghost. I am a ghost buster. Arguably, I'm a ghost smasher as well, if we're talking about the ghost that tried to give Ray the business.
Nobody wants to hear about your sordid,
ghostly
sexual conquests. So again, for anyone who's not affiliated,
cool, awesome,
initiated rather. So you have your 4 Ghostbusters, of which none of their last names are familiar to you. You are 4 new Ghostbusters to the franchise that Winston dusted off at the end of the most recent Ghostbuster cinematic adventure. In essence, this would be like a direct sequel, right? For considering what we saw on the big screen. So
it's wonderful in that regard, yeah.
They walk you through. You're a recruit. You're not the rookie like the last game that Charlie was referring to, which was actually a dope story, because if I remember correctly, that was like one of the most often pitched Ghostbusters 3 stories that were floating around out there, correct?
Passing the pack. The one of the big, very specifically Dan Aykroyd pushed for
everything.
Anything you're willing to do. But Ghostbusters Hellbound, it was called. Ghostbusters 666, it was called, with the whole idea being like,
putting that up on the marquee, buddy.
Manhattan, because it's like Manhattan, but in hell. Manhattan. Not every idea Dan has is a home run. is all I'm saying. You know, that vodka gets to you. Little shout out to Crystal Skull. But the whole idea.
Stay puffed a little too hard, son.
Exactly. The idea of that was like passing on the packs to a new generation. The game kind of cut the middle because it knew everyone wanted desperately to see Peter, Ray, Winston, and Egon kind of back in the saddle. And by casting you as the fifth Ghostbuster, the rookie dealing with the experimental gear, kind of a silent observer, you were able to take in this story really, really wonderfully. The problem with Ghostbusters, the video game, is the multiplayer was relatively like generic ghost-based multiplayer. Like, yes, you captured ghosts, but the mechanics, even though they were same as the game, they didn't have that narrative through line. It wasn't infinitely replayable. With this game, they said, fuck all that. We got like 20 minutes of story. You'll get it over in 4 cutscenes. But like a lot of these horror games that come out, the design of it is really since a human character, because it's 5-player multiplayer, 4 busters, 1 ghost. The ability to have a ghost aware of its surroundings. One of the players has its own weapons at its disposal, has minions, can slime you. As John and I learned, the ghost, yeah, John and I learned over and over and over, you can get the fucking shit slimed out of you by a high enough level, spook, specter, or ghost.
Sliming so often and with such regularity. You're like, this motherfucker must be taking B12 shots or something. Like, he was skeeting right and left. Ellis with a dynamite throwback to a prior episode. Dan's best idea was starring in Exit to Eden. Yes, Exit to Eden, Anne Rice. What I suspect really killed Anne Rice. Granted, it was decades after the fact, but I think it was like one of those slow burns for Madame Rice.
Ate her up inside.
Damn you. It's eating me up inside, too. And
I get it. Makes sense. It's very hard to be that attracted to a woman who has no interest in you. I understand your fetishizing of Rosie O'Donnell is difficult.
She's a funny woman, all right? I don't subscribe to the Charlie book of women aren't funny rule, so fuck off, dude. If you can't handle Rosie, you can't handle my love. That's how I see it. Okay?
You know what? Fair. Talking about handling the love, the attachments, the upgrades that you kind of unlock in this game relatively quickly. What I really love, one of the things I love about it, fair enough. You didn't just skip 3 nights of sleep to just play endlessly.
I started playing the game the day that we said, yeah, well, let's play this game this day. I was like, whip, I guess I better go buy it. So just real quick, the differences between our locales, as close as we are geographically. So I was like, I'll just dip to the old Target and pick up a copy because I'm one of those cats. I like having tangible games. I don't like downloading games.
We know you're old. You don't have to specify your old media ass.
Uncalled for. But in any case, so I'm like, la 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 la. And they were like, they were nowhere to be found. And I said, hey, little Mr. Man behind the counter, let me get this game. And he said, nope, because we do not have any in the building. I said, all right, where can they be found in the great garden state of New Jersey? He said, nowhere. So like, huh? He said, nowhere. What the fuck? So I had no choice but to come back and download it like a monster. But the download was a quick download. So for anybody who's contemplating picking up the game,
just fucking do it.
Maybe it doesn't pick up a lot of space. It does not take up a lot of space on your machine whatsoever. But yeah, I was maybe 48 hours behind Charlie, and by the time I got to play with him, he was a fucking giant marshmallow monster, and I was like one of the little cute, adorable ones that was messing with Paul Rudd. Just unfair. And then he reversed Game of Thrones me, because when we were first sitting through, I was like, oh, so Charlie, on page 12 of book 2, this is happening. He wanted to kill me. We're now even. Charlie Game of Thrones me through the first 10-15 minutes of that game.
I think one of the cruelest things you've ever said was like, "You teach for a living, like you're an instructor." Because I immediately turned into you when we played Resident Evil 2 in the basement, where you were just like, "Equip your gun, equip!" Like you're just getting louder with this. That was me. I was like, "Use your goddamn PKE to stun the motherfucker." I was so
just not hear me. Let me go ahead and amplify this volume just a little bit.
The absolute, I think my favorite part so far of the game was me being like, "John, where are you?" And you just very calmly were like, I don't know where you are. We were just this giant digital brewery, and you're like, "I have no way of knowing where you are. There's no map, and I don't see you."
Brewery before. So I
have a favorite beer at the fictional brewery already.
Charlie's running a tab at the fictional brewery. He's been playing this game so damn long. The game that literally just freaking came out.
What I love though, like you said, the game came out a few days ago. Yeah. They've already given out their first DLC. I booted up the game to play with you. The firehouse was decorated for Halloween. There was some free masks in my locker. Speaking though of the real Ghostbuster cartoon vibes, one of the first things you unlock is an alternate flight suit. That's Peter Venkman's cartoon suit. I high-fived myself. I was so excited. Honestly, the one thing I couldn't get out of my head, though, was is there, other than John's 8-track player video game system...
They were very smooth, Ellis.
John, is there a franchise that you're, like, thirsty to see adapted into a multiplayer game? Like, it's so easy. We all want a great Superman, like, open world style game. Like, I think that's a common right? But very specifically,
how many amazing mods that have been done to existing games are like, let's put Superman in this world, and then they
it's just
instantly
fucking awesome.
Make the game a million times better. Yeah, of course.
So, like, to give a quick...
Please.
To further elaborate, though, I wanted to play the Evil Dead game, but since it was a multiplayer, like, horror game, like Spirits Unleashed, I wound up, like, skipping it. Because I'm like, I love Evil Dead, but I'm shitty at video games. But I'm not going to ruin a franchise by being untalented at something that, like... Frankly, it was just I watched like gameplay footage and I'm like far too fucking complicated. Now I'm throwing traps like fucking overhand.
Charlie is like a Ghostbusters savant. He's like Charlie could probably legitimately fix a real life proton pack, considering how many hundreds of fake proton packs and equipment and crap that he's put together.
It's true.
But yeah, so a
multiplayer game specifically.
Yeah, no, totally.
Is there a franchise? The one that popped in my head for you just wound up in essence being Red Dead Redemption 2 online because
like,
I was like,
would be great, a cowboy game, and you just like ride around. It's open world. I'm like, yeah, that would.
I'm like, oh, John would love a Wyatt Earp game. Like, wait a second, that's just Red Dead Redemption 2.
No,
that's how unimaginative I am.
We're aware. We all know. So without question, and it's ironic because probably the most popular gameplay mode in 2022 and for the last several years has
Battle Royale
called Battle Royale mode. So we mentioned Fortnite or whatever, called the new Call of Duty came out, Warzone, like what the hell is that other one that looks just terrible? It looks like 1994 graphics and people still love it.
The one with like the giant like grape ape is like a main character. He's like, I'm bionic ape boy.
But that's another one with like Citizen 76 and all these characters and so they're all different styles and blah blah blah. But they're all a takeoff off of this Japanese classic flick Battle Royale. If you haven't seen it yet, fix that mistake real quick. But can you imagine? Cast your minds to sitting in front of your little console and your giant screen TV, and you're playing a MMORPG style version of Battle Royale where you're just a little kid and you're sitting in class and like, shit, I did not study for this quiz. Well, I got good news, bad news situation for you, Jim. You don't have to take the quiz, but also as well as we're sending you to an island where you have to literally murder your classmates lest you yourself be murdered. So imagine a video game where
Yes.
you are a child, you get dropped on the island again, freaking Fortnite style, Call of Duty style, fill in the blank. But you're a kid and just randomly placed around the island. There's like bladed weapons. Maybe if you get lucky, there's like a projectile weapon. You can booby trap cats. I mean, this would be a battle royale style battle royale game.
Oh my God.
I don't care if the graphics are like cartoonish. I don't care if they're ultra realistic. As long as the blood mode is enabled, Mortal Kombat style. I want it bloody. I want him screaming. I want the little child. Like I want it full out. Nothing will make me happier.
The thing that's most exciting about that idea is like the parent groups complaining. Be like, we're encouraging children to play as
Please.
7-year-olds.
Please.
Kill it. I just imagine you
I'll be
eating out
drinking
on
those
that.
tears like.
The all I know is I need a on-video commitment that you're going to put in hundreds of hours into
yeah, for
Spirits
sure.
Unleashed with me, because the fact that I need you in. I need those Red Dead hours out of you.
You know,
I
look,
need
it's a
those
tough-
Red Dead hours
it's
out
a
of
tough
you.
commitment. Before 11.5 a year and health insurance, I'm in, baby.
That's my guy. The for me, the bottom line, very, very simple. If you enjoy happiness, you're going to enjoy Spirits Unleashed. If you like being able to kind of chirp with your friend, the shit talking I did at Ghosts that I caught. The Charlie Rivera Ghostbuster movie, it turns out, is just me chirping like I'm playing hockey.
I mean, Charlie was talking mess like he was the third player in White Man Can't Jump. I was like, oh, White Man Can't Jump, but Puerto Rican kids can jump like halfway. Woo! Duncan, oh, you got a big Z in your fro, Ghost. Woo! You ever been to flight school? Charlie was calling his shots like he was Paul Newman in The Color of Money. Charlie was talking so much trash that he is now in the Trash Collectors Union. The good news is you get to retire several years from now, so you should be in good shape.
I like it. The one thing I know above all else, if you give Spirits Unleashed a shot, if you have a buddy or two to play online with, I guarantee you're going to have not only a good time, I guarantee you're going to have a great time.
Yeah,
and
the customization is there, but like
it's
the
so much
customization
fun.
does not make it look like, well, this doesn't look like it belongs. Like you can't be a duck like some of these other online fucking role playing games or co-op
you can't be a
games,
duck
blah, blah,
yet.
blah. Well, you can. Be
I
a
guarantee we
pumpkinhead,
give this
but it's
game a couple of
limited.
years, we'll get there.
Yeah, on a long enough timeline, I guess anything is possible.
I want John Wick, like as a DLC character. I want them to go full Fortnite, and they're like, Johnny Bravo is a ghost for some reason in Ghostbusters.
I will
Spirits
say this.
Unleashed.
If the good folks at Sony and Ghostbusters, like so many others, steal yet another brilliant John idea, and one day there's an option to be in there in like a khaki colored Obama style slim fit cut suit, but on that regular business type suit you got the proper patches, just a swanging when you walk through with that swagger like you were Peter Venkman dating a dog. I am going to be real upset. So don't play me dirty, Ghostbusters and Sony. Don't do that to me. Give the credit where credit is due.
My last thing to kind of wrap up this segment, I want to know, because again, Ilphonic, they have a couple games under their belt that they had licensing issues with.
Yeah.
An issue you're not going to have with Sony. No one, they know kind of who owns Ghostbusters. They have a nice diesel contract with them. So we do have a possibility for these Fortnite type crossovers. Also, Ilphonic just did that Evil Dead game. So for me, I would love if they did, like, even if it was just an event, just for next Halloween to spice up interest, let you play as Ash in Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Do some of these team ups, but more, I think, exciting potentially down the road. If you wind up having limited time villains for some of these maps.
Special
so
event
you
villains? Yeah,
you
heck
shoot
yeah.
on Spirits Unleashed, and you're fucking going after Beetlejuice. You're going after Freddy. You're
Beetlejuice
going
would be a
after
problem.
fucking Pinhead. If you like, I refuse to believe that people wouldn't go absolutely ape shit. Do you have the last question I have for you? Do you have a dream crossover? Is there someone you want in this game, or are you so relatively new? I mean, you're only like a level 6 so far.
Why you gotta play me like that?
Is there? I unfortunately I stole a lot of them, but do you have a villain or
You know
hero
what?
you would like temporarily
like any
injected?
other true hero, I'm going to go ahead and team up like a superhero that I am, and I'm gonna take Joker streams recommendation coming to us from Twitch, and yeah, I say gimme Casper. Matter of fact, for a special bonus level, you as the new GB on the block, you actually roll up on Ray like, hey Ray, lock up the occult shop. Casper, that son of a bitch who chased you out of the house that one time, now has come the time for our revenge. Heck yeah, like Joker Stream said, give me Casper. I'm gonna put an end to that stuff. Especially, he's rolling my girl, Christina Ricci. No, Casper. You
Not
out.
on my watch. Not on my watch, John. I'll tell all the people at home. I'll
Do
tell
it.
all the people listening, all the people watching. If you don't want to see John in control of Ray, busting Casper,
Hell yeah, me and Ray run
you
deep.
you are a filthy liar, like Ellis's personal Lord and Savior, Joy Toy Boy Lucas. And to prove that, oh baby, we know that Han
shot first, kid. And that's a big Twinkie. Yeah, baby. Light him up. Wow, Charlie didn't even cheers me or nothing. Jeez Louise. I still had the cellophane on my salute.
Cheers it, trying to prove their name brand. The one thing we didn't think, it takes much longer to chew.
I disagree.
Then it
We've
does-
all seen you take a shot. You're like, it burns. Ooh.
First and first, mostly, that is far too close to reality. Now that you're in mid-chew, right?
I'm gonna save the other half for later.
I'm gonna literally have it when I have nothing to say. Like you're gonna be waxing poetic, and I'm gonna munch on it. Have your sip. I'm trying to give you proper sip time before I kick it to you. Because my dear brother, what do you want to talk about, bro?
Oh, Charlie, don't you know we are not just in flight suits, proton packs lit up, powered, streaming, ready to go because of the Ghostbusters video game. It's also still very much as well as spooky season.
The
And if there
best
was-
season.
Oh, like just the pumpkin spiciest of seasons. And if there's one guy who would be like the Jack Skellington of this season, not the type of like little Jack who's like, oh, Christmas. No. My man Guillermo del Toro is very comfortable living in the pumpkin patch, waiting for the great pumpkin to arise. He does not want to fast forward these fall months like any of these Han Solo dressing chicks out there. He is firmly entrenched. Matter of fact, he's going to keep Halloween going for us, hopefully well into November, because Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities has indeed dropped over on Netflix. Now, this is something somewhat new for Netflix. I'm talking about the release schedule, because unlike the vast majority of their original content, where they would just drop the entire season, kit and caboodle all at once. No, they're slow burning us a little bit. Matter of fact, when I first fired up the Netflix box, I could only watch the first 2 episodes. So that's what I did. I watched those first 2.
Were you pissed? Were you like, more?
You know what? True transparency here. I looked at the runtime. I said, before I work up any emotions right now with this inanimate object, of which it is not its fault, I took a look at the runtime. I said, this is like a movie, right? This is like a movie's worth of entertainment. And I really don't know, because Netflix, most of the streamers they kind of just like release things willy nilly anyway. We're not going to see another damn dragon on the screen till I think 24 at this point. So like they just release things how they feel, and I said, okay, this is enough. Maybe before even I know it, the next chunk will be out, and it actually was, because I was literally just talking to somebody about the prior 2 episodes, and all of a sudden I was like, oh snap, there's 2 more. They're just dropping them, dum 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 dum. So Charlie, I'm just gonna go right ahead and say it. I love me a good anthology. Anthology series, they live and they die on the brain, on the storytelling ability of their creators. However, even when you have a creator that might not be an A+ talent, when you have someone at the wheel, when you have someone who is personifying the title executive producer. How many times do we see the producer credits on shows, on movies, on cereal boxes, and you think, what the hell does an executive producer do except cash checks, right? Here you clearly see what they do, because Del Toro is steering this mighty ghost ship down the streets, not letting it veer off. I don't know how deep you got into it, but at this point, at the time that we're recording, broadcasting this live, I have seen all 4 of the available 4 episodes, and truth be told, for me, they just keep getting better and better and better. They really do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was surprised. I've only watched the first episode, and I gotta tell you, I am just a complete wuss. So I love scary shit, but I don't love it. I don't love it like a hipster. There is something really exhilarating about being creeped out. And I only saw the pilot, the first episode rather, because in an anthology series, there's not really a pilot. There's kind of a proof of concept.
Yeah, you can almost shuffle them up and be like, all right, watch this order or that.
In the pre-show, you kind of let it drop that you think that's the weakest episode. If that's the case, I'm even more excited, because I thought it was a perfectly acceptable show. The
weakest episode, while not being weak, just so that we're very clear.
Even better still.
If a monster came to me and said, I know that you don't make lists and put things in particular order, but I'm gonna put my proton pack to your temple. Like you have to order these. That's how I would actually order. Maybe I would go 3, 4, 2, 1. But at that point, it's just semantics. We're quibbling over, one.
I didn't want to call you out, but just you even being like, the first episode's the weakest, I'm like, that counts as an order. Like, I am fucking in heaven. Yeah,
Heaven's
exactly. I'm like, is this what fucking being robbed
I'm fluent in Charlieism, so I know how to communicate with my boy.
I appreciate it. There's something so fucking wonderful though about like knowing someone's sensibility. Right? If Kevin Smith, who has been involved with a lot of very low budget productions, not as the writer or director, but he helps encourage his friend.
All of his productions, other than Cop Out, have been.
Hey, we have our first spam bot.
Yay!
We
welcome.
did it.
Good
we
job.
did it.
Good job, 69 Girls XYZ.
I'm going to go ahead and block that. 69 Girls XYZ.
I didn't write it down yet. We've arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes! We have arrived. Looks like we made it. I consider that an accomplishment.
He would sing this episode. Look at Charlie.
You're welcome, and also apologies. For me, there's something so great about oh, sorry, Joker Stream. Our bad.
Got it like that. We didn't realize.
I like that.
In reality, Joker's got Harley Quinn. He's got Punchline. I didn't know you had a third one in the mix. My bad.
And the third one pluralizes. That's fucking real hip, man.
You're like Taika Waititi up in this piece.
God bless him. Don't direct stuff though, Joker Stream. If that's the case, you get down to one broad before directing your next flick. For me,
don't
there's
tell him how to live his life, bro.
Fair enough. There's something really great about going into something, knowing one of the people involved, be it as a producer, a showrunner, the kind of man behind the men and women bringing something to life. It's like it is a beautiful stamp of approval. So hearing about Cabinet of Curiosities, like, yeah, I'm fucking in, because Del Toro is absolutely a master, right? So it's house money. I think it was a great idea from Netflix. I do know that absolutely Ellis. Guys, you can find Ellis's OnlyFans. It's only feet pictures, but they're drawn feet pictures of the girl Daffy Duck. I forget her name, Daisy Duck. It's just all Daisy Duck feet.
I thought it was like all Star Wars aliens feet. Just like beautifully rendered in very, very painstaking detail.
I have
Which
to be
we
honest.
appreciate here at USComics.
Now that we're saying it out loud, I want Ellis to start an OnlyFans where he just draws and animates Star Wars alien feats. I think it would make, and like the first one, Leia. Like, you get people in with normal, and then real quick you get into that weird racist prequel thing. I can't say anything because I forget his name, but I know he's racist. Paul, he's in it for the duck feet. God bless him. I can't help but notice I've never seen Paul and 69 Girls XYZ in the same room at the same time. They're both on YouTube. Got. I suspect that it's not only Fantastic Four that he enjoys. But back to the point, John, do you have certain expectations as far as how this anthology series is going to build? Or are you just like, I'm going to fucking drink in each episode for what it is, get some weird monsters, some weird beauty products I was promised in the trailer?
You know where I'm at with this particular series is that I remember kind of like soaking in as much information as I could at the initial release of information point. Like, Guillermo del Toro was doing this thing, and then just threw this like a blinding, impressive list of names. Boom, 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 boom. Matter of fact, not the most recent, but actually one of the more recent episodes that I saw, F. Murray Abraham was like kind of like center stage for it. And I love that dude. I use F. Murray Abraham like profanity. That's how often that man's name is in my mouth.
What a legacy he's gonna leave behind.
I mean, just get the record books ready, because I have used the name F. Murray Abraham more than freaking Scarface ever could have. But that all being said, I took a Charlie approach of like the way Charlie, talking about you, Charlie, like you're not here. Charlie avoids trailers for flicks that he really wants to see. He avoids it. Oh man, good for him, because I'm just not strong enough, to be totally frank. I know myself, like Socrates said, know thyself. Charlie can do it though. So in this case, I was as Charlie-esque as I could possibly be. I said, you know what? Give it to me. Give it to me like Christmas morning. So at this point, I'm just like, and when it's working, because with each of the 4 episodes that have been dropped so far, I'm like, oh, look who it is. It's really like a knock at the front door where you don't check your ring. You just open it up. You don't check your caller ID. It's like, hello, who's over there? It's been a real Christmas morning effect to me, but like Nightmare Before Christmas type Christmas morning, because like spiders and rats and aliens and dead people, and it's been pretty great, man. It really, thus far, knock on wood, it's been great.
Joker stream, I'm watching you saying that Mephisto's in the new Black Panther. You don't kid with me. Not about important shit like movies. You bun of a sitch.
Oh, we'll get
I
to
fucking
Black
hope
Panther.
Batman gets
don't
you.
You wear.
For me, I don't know, man. It's because I don't live in the world. I'm not like an obsessive Guillermo fan. I'm just a fan. So when his shit pops off, it always feels like Christmas, because I'm never on Twitter being like, what's his next fucking project? All I ever know about his work is what doesn't wind up coming out. So I know Joker Stream mentioned it before. To give credit where credit's due, Guillermo was going to do BioShock, and it never got off the ground, because I'm sure he was like, yeah, we're going to really lean into these monsters. Another special treat, and I am going to need you to spoil.
In the comic book world, though, Guillermo del Toro was supposed to have a particularly dark take as well. He was, matter of fact, going to have the entire like division, and that never happened too, which just broke my little heart.
Yeah, the idea of him getting to do Justice League Dark and play with characters like Constantine and Swamp Thing and Zatanna is on the laundry. Don't get me wrong, we're like 10 minutes away from talking about the other way nightmares can manifest. But I feel like personally like a little bit robbed. I wish you would take some of those ideas and let someone kind of run with it.
You never know. You never know.
Even yeah, time will tell, I suppose. What I did not know, but I need to know. Does he introduce every episode? Is Guillermo like the crypt keeper?
He pulls like a real Alfred Hitchcockian type conversation, and I'm not just talking about the silhouette that he cuts. And he also has like one of those. It's a literal cabinet of curiosities, and like if that cabinet was rolled into Pawn Stars, even Rick would be like, "Nah, I'll offer you full price." I don't know how exactly they're doing the trick with the cabinet, but it's like one of those fanciful Victorian era cabinets where it has 1,000 little compartments and opens up a million different ways. That CGI is some good stuff. Rod Sterling, that's a dynamite drop, Ellis. Rod Sterling absolutely is the standard bearer there. Yes. Yeah, he really does a beautiful job. And again, the way that I'm looking at it, obviously, again, he executive produced this gem, this Halloween treat for us in spooky time. But the way I'm looking at it is, other than his own personal directed episode, which we have yet to drop, I learned today, it's more so like these are stories. If you whispered in Guillermo's ear, like, "Oh, that is messed up. Let's put that on film." Like that's how I'm taking it. This is the type of shit that he would be interested in, that he would love to watch, and that's how I look at recommendations from people. If someone who I think personally has trash opinion about a small or big screen fare, books, comics, whatever, I'll say, "Oh, I'm glad that you enjoyed it," and I'm not running to the store to go pick up a copy. However, if someone who I respect their opinion, if they recommend something, or even if they say, "Hey, I like this," then I'm right there. That's the way I'm looking at it. This is a Guillermo approved, stamp of approval, fair. So I'm there for all of it. I really am.
He really does feel like your smartest friend about the most specific topic.
Yeah, I mean, look at my list of friends.
No,
Look
you know
at the
what?
comment section here. Yes, he's the
Fair.
smartest one, obviously.
Fair, but just like if it's something macabre, not only does he know the best fucking version of the story, like, not to spoil it, the first story is like very Nazi monster, is what I'll fucking throw out there, and it doesn't disappoint. I'm like, that is the Naziest monster that ever monstered.
But like, also as well as like you got a little racism in there. You got a little pickup mentality.
It's also one of those things.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's also one of those things. I guarantee there's going to be. This is one of those weird DVDs I may have to get, because if he does commentary tracks for each episode, I guarantee there's like 1,000,000,005 nuances that are going to like affect my soul that's hidden in plain sight.
This is also one of those series where like repeat viewing of particular episodes is mandatory. It really is. And Lord help us, literally and figuratively, if this is like a Black Mirror situation where any or some of these, any and some of the same thing, if all or some of these stories are in any way interconnected, I'm going to need a change of pants. Because that is the type of stuff that I'm like, I love loosely connected things where you just didn't see the bridge. And before you know it, you're there. You're on the other side of the river.
There's something so, and for me, you know, not to totally go way off topic, so we'll steer right back into the topic though. But with anthology series, I've been like waiting my whole life for them to kind of put the bow on Ghostbuster films. Don't get me wrong, I want one periodically, but I would love a Ghostbusters anthology series And then if you let like a director and a creator like him have an episode randomly of like the West Dallas Ghostbusters, written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, be like, they're gonna get eaten by some creepy shit. Like, I mean, that is the stuff of dreams.
Isn't that kind of what they're doing with the Star Wars series right now?
They very much so. And I would watch him,
especially Mando. So you're getting like you're getting particular episodes about particular like topics or like flavors, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a Bryce Dallas Howard. Oh, that's a Taika. You know, so that's really great, because now, whereas in the past, and like, you know, years past, a lot of the creators were hidden. Like we're big proponents for like, give the writers their due. Like give an original storyline a credit if you have adapted it into $1 billion franchise. Like they're taking it even a step further, where like now these creators are becoming household names. Obviously pay them, but knowing who they are, I mean that's an even bigger thing. So a friend of the show and friend in life, Carolyn, she's given us several very good ideas for episodes here, which we're totally going to take her up on. But she actually raised a good point where sometimes you'll see a performer who you'll think, oh well, I'm kind of nonplussed with this particular performer. For me, if you can get beyond that and still be able to enjoy what that performer is in, that's like a real testament. You know what I mean? And then also to say, no, I'm here for the long haul. So if one episode wasn't your particular cup of tea, I got good news for you. The waiter's on their way back, and they're gonna plunk something down in front of you that's new, and then you're gonna say, oh, now we're talking. Now we're talking. The tip has not been compromised.
Yeah, have you ever bailed out of an anthology series? Like mid-season? I don't know that I have. Like, if you have a good enough idea that I'm on board for one episode, I'm going to drink it all in. Even if it's like, now I start looking at my phone. Now I start flipping through an old comic. Have you, you don't strike me as the type to suffer through something for the sake, whereas I clearly, you can tell by my dating history, love suffering through long, drawn-out endings.
You know, so there are some times where people they'll get their plate, we'll stick with that, with the waiter analogy there. They'll get their food and they're like, ugh, this is terrible. And the portions are so small. You're like, well, you make up your mind. Like, what do you want? Do you want a ton of something bad, or do you want to bail? So no, I would not say that I am the type to kind of suffer, to suffer with dignity. I'm like, goodbye, let me pay my bill and bounce. So yeah, for you to ask me that, it's a hard question. I mean, I wasn't prepared for it, but like, that's probably because I'm not one to stick around for something. You didn't
stick around long enough to know it was an anthology series.
Yeah,
like you're in the middle of the first episode. You're like, ugh.
No. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm a liar. I'm an immediate bald face liar. I have bailed on multiple seasons of American Horror Story.
Oh, that's one of the very few exceptions that probably prove the rule. If I don't like the first episode, I'm going to lose so much credit. I've never liked a season of American Horror Story.
Really? Not even the very first one? That's just like a house?
Nah, you know the problem is I don't inherently like spooky stuff. Spooky stuff gets under my skin. So if it's not good spooky stuff, there's no reason for me to stick around. With that being said, how dare you, Ellis? Although I will be eventually seeing Halloween Ends.
The bombs.
Although I don't know if I've ever seen a Halloween movie I've liked. Like the franchise, Halloween. I don't know if any of them I've ever been like, this is great. Maybe 3. Season of the Witch was fun.
Yeah, but
the masks, bugs crawling out the eyes and shit.
Yogurt to eat to stay regular.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but like the other fact is precisely how we pay our bills. Up in this mother
I love paying bills. I feel like the way I'm going to pay one bill is our chat section is like writing and producing Ghostbuster parodies. We got a director lined up. I am happy to sign on if it gets me a couple ducats.
This new Ghostbusters game has the Ghost Core stamp all over it, so we actually know who to go to. But yeah,
That's
Charlie,
true.
do us all a favor. Tell us how we go about paying the bills up in this piece.
We're brought to you tonight by Tide Pods. Just kidding, because we are not like other pods who sell out for any random brand that's willing to throw us a couple coins. No, no! Today we are brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, and that, of course, is the band Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro, and you're going to hear them again at the end of the show. If you're wondering where else to catch their act, you can follow them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But my absolute favorite part is that their entire discography is available across every streaming music service. So if I need Bad Mary, I got Bad Mary.
Damn straight. Matter of fact, just a little tack on. Right now, for a very limited time, you have the dopely styled Feather Mucking Ninja T-shirt is available over on their site. So definitely go check it out. I'm definitely gonna get one. And look, you want to be like me? Let's be honest.
That's a fact.
But then that also leaves the question: where we dropping? Oh yeah, with Sergeant Finesse. Find him gaming on both Trovo and Facebook. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content. Supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. My Sarge. Sarge is actually having some real fucking issues. We had mentioned some of the battle royale games and stuff like that. The Call of Duty, their newest output, which is like a sequel. Call of Duty. I don't get what you're doing. Hey, come up with a new name. Don't sequelize some shit that was out to as the guy who's responsible for making custom art for Sarge's streams. You confuse me every week. Make up your mind, Call of Duty. I do not need your help messing my head up. But the truth is, when the Sarge is on deck, you salute. GG, son.
John,
Yeah.
we need a liquor sponsor pretty bad. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I'm drinking the world's largest White Claw.
Jeez Louise. Is that even legal in the New York State?
Because last night
The
I
New
decided it
York
would be it would be a good idea to pick our mother up and take her out to a lovely movie.
Oh, what a good boy.
We didn't see Bridges of Madison County 3D. We didn't sit down and watch a rom-com at all, at least in the conventional, but we looked up into the night sky. We opened our window wide and we shouted out, Shazam! And I was, to bury the lead, I was disappointed. Which
Really?
probably actually, let me rewind. I wasn't disappointed. I kind of got exactly what I thought I was going to get. And that was basically a sequel to The Birds of Prey and the spontaneous combustion of one Harley Quinn. Because this was such a stock DC movie that, like, it's fine, but, like, it begins and ends with me desperately clinging on to the tiny little things I liked.
Your Schwartz?
The Schwanz close-ups. I want to preface a couple things real quick before I kick it to you for your first thoughts.
Right.
I'm a huge Dwayne Johnson supporter. I loved him when he was
Rocky Maivia.
when he was in the WWF, when it transitioned to WWE. I've been there along the way when he was walking tall, when he was saving the Fast and Furious franchise, when he had his spinoff, when he makes Kevin Hart seem tolerable to me. I will keep supporting The Rock for as long as it makes sense, right? I tried drinking his energy drink. I'm good, thanks, buddy. Tremana, I'm on board. Let's keep it with the booze. They're Rocky. I love his ABC sitcom, Young Rock. I will watch more Black Adam, but I need it to be better than this Black Adam. You had very low hopes.
Wow, you clearly, I mean, as much
Oh my
as you
God,
disliked
Joker
it,
Stream.
Joker Stream, is your wife okay, brother?
Joker Stream was 3/4 of the way through Black Adam, and apparently she got into a car accident. That's awful, buddy.
Oof.
Oh man.
So, I mean,
Well, Joker stream, reach out. We'll let you know the ending.
I was gonna say like you don't know how the story ended, or like you don't know about the
Worst kept secret,
the mid-credit scene that like literally everybody seemed to have known even before the movie was released. Because look, say what you will about Rocky's franchise-saving chops, say what you will about his wrestling abilities, say what you will about his hairline. The one thing he is not is a clever social media cat. Because he was like, tee, and I'm like, all right, so like clearly this is
this
what
weekend's
happened.
gonna be super.
So we will we'll carefully navigate these waters for you, Joker. But yeah, you know it's funny. So obviously, again, for anyone who is not touched by the powers of Shazam, we're talking about Black Adam. I guess maybe only Walter Hamada is the only cat out there at this point who hasn't seen this flick, because Walter Hamada was put on his ass over at DC. James Gunn incoming. Personally, I was pulling for Mike Zapsik over at the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash, but
I mean, this is a good consolation
much
prize.
like all things, DC doesn't listen to me ever. Yeah, you know what's funny, Charlie? I really think these type of things, they do have more to do with expectations walking in the door. Because you're right, I did not have particularly sky-high expectations. I will say this, and this is not a question of like personal preferences or like reviewers saying this, that, the other thing. Like, you know, this is not up for debate. Black Adam, a.k.a. Dwayne Rocky Johnson, he is the only man to have officially killed Michael Myers, because everybody saw this flick.
Yeah.
He took Halloween and threw it out on his freaking crusty James T. Kirk looking face. Everybody seems to have seen this movie. Now,
Over 60 million for an opening weekend. The Rock's biggest opening.
His biggest opening that he's ever had. I do agree with Joker. Probably my biggest disappointment is that he didn't have the Spock ears. And more to the point, literally, he did not have, didn't have that widow's peak. He doesn't have it. Freaking Namor rolling up on Wakanda doesn't have the widow's peak. He does have the ears. I'll give him that. Charlie, where is the hate for the widow's peak? I don't even want to call up Dracula. This is the middle of his busy season. Dracula, I hate to tell you this, you're going to have to do a comb over because the widow's peak seems to be out of favor. Charlie, why?
Does Dracula work seasons? Is he Halloween Santa?
Course, man. Of course.
I did not know.
Bro.
I think
you're going to come out of your castle when you got 3 bitches running around just getting you whatever you want. Like, come on, dude. I can't barely get you out of the house in Long Island, New York.
I think you bring up a valid point. If 3 bitches want to hang out, just don't gots to know. But I think we're all so desensitized to characters not looking like they're supposed to. So I think there was no outrage because they were like, well, but Rock's bald. Be like, he also can't fly or shoot fucking lightning, sir. Throw on a lace front wig on this fucking pimp.
Well, but here's the thing. I also think that that's the one knock that is more than fair against The Rock, is that, like, it doesn't make a difference what he's in. He can be in G.I. Joe.
He's The Rock.
Furious. He could be in fucking The Mummy. He's The Rock. He's The Rock. And honestly, now that I say it out loud, I think that the Scorpion King debacle, I think that might have shaken him up. He's like, no wigs, no wigs, no wigs. Look, your male pattern baldness is not my fault. So
well, now it's all gone. You can have the hairline of your dreams, pal.
He's got the worst case of male pattern baldness. It goes all the way down to his ass. Look, I sent you a picture. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at it.
You did, and it was fucking awesome.
Somebody did a masterful job of slapping hair and ears on the cat, and I immediately was like, that's Black Adam. So my review, the short version of it was, and I realized that this comes with like a lot of like big like rock size grains of salt. It was good for a DC movie. It was better than most of the DC fare that I have had to sit through. And Joker, do one of these for me. Go. Meh, 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 meh. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So when our boy in blue, when he did finally show up for the worst kept secret cameo of all time, I was lifted. And this is something, Joker, you can take off the earmuffs.
You knew that much.
This is
even he knew.
I mean, this is something that I said to you prior, maybe a few weeks ago even. Does The Rock, like, does he read comics? Does he does realize that Black Adam is not even on the fucking the Legion of Doom Mount Rushmore. I'm like, he's not that big of a character. And he's like, oh, I've been wanting to play him. I'm like, what? Why?
I mean, he got signed to this when he had hair.
Dude,
like, it's been a minute.
Right.
Like Walking Tall, I think he booked. They were like, you're going to be our Black Adam, buddy. See you in a couple decades.
I mean, he's like half Black Adam because, like, you know, he's my lineage. So a lot of
15 years, says Joker Stream.
Years. Unbelievable.
15 fucking years. Here's the thing, though, John. I think The Rock and his production partner, Jerry Garcia, they are incredible business people.
Sure.
So I think he looked at the landscape of DC and he said, I can get my foot nice and in the middle of this. Because a lot of people are rejoicing that Henry Cavill's back. I don't need anything from the Snyderverse to stay. I love Ben Affleck. I think Henry Cavill did great with what he was given. But the prospect of a Man of Steel 2 does nothing to titillate me. Man of Steel is a film.
You're talking about Charlie, or are you talking about Rocky?
I'm talking about Charlie. Okay. I'm talking about me.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking
The
about...
Rock is so excited that Cavill's back.
Yeah.
He clearly wants us rubbing our nips over the idea of Superman and Black Adam going toe-to-toe.
But this is my point.
It's insanity.
Does he know that Black Adam's fucking, like, opposite? His... And again, you're not a bad guy. You're not a good guy. You're an anti-hero. Like, so that needs to be made very, very clear. Now, granted, DC has probably, debatably, done its best work with anti-heroes. Look at Peacemaker. Look at Harley Quinn. And that's where the list stops.
Who kills? Superman who kills. Aquaman who kills. Wonder Woman who kills. Flash who probably kills. Everybody kills. That tagline, when Hawkman looks up at him and is like, heroes don't kill. I was like, since the fuck when DC movies?
Well, I didn't take umbrage with that because, I mean, there is a distinction between characters. And I'm not saying that that's the distinction. That's what makes the difference between an anti-hero and a hero is the one who kills. I think that's a little bit too broad of a brush to paint with. But no.
Tell that to this movie because that was their central theme.
Well, but granted, I think that was more establishing like what you can expect from Black Adam. But the point of the matter is, like, to me the standout. Well, I'm not quite sure where we were going with this. But to me the standout, and I don't want it to be lost. Dr. Fate. He was
amazing.
He was the highlight of the flick for me, both in his portrayal of the character, especially, look, Dr. Fate is not a household name for people outside the Four Color Funny Book world, like us and pretty much everybody here. However, when the cat first shows up on screen, you're like, that's somebody who I need to know. I'm supposed to know who this person is. Joker Stream, I did not. I did it very reluctantly. I watched all of the Justice League Snyder Cut.
I watched it twice, and I agree it's better than Justice League.
But again,
But everything is.
But here, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's the marker to say, like, for me, I was like, okay, Black Adam was like, it was okay for a DC movie. That's not the same as saying it was even okay. It's certainly not the same as saying it was good, because we're right back to where Joker and the Batman, like, they've taken steps away from this idea of like, okay, well, it's going to be a Marvel-like shared universe. Even when Marvel steps outside and says, this is not shared universe, this is what if, this is special event, like, this is, Marvel's making such a they're doing such a good job with their label maker that there's no question marks. And still now we are left wondering until the Flash comes out, hopefully.
Yeah, where the fuck is everything
like,
sitting?
Where are we right now? Where are we? Because the second that you got Cavill back, the second that you start reintroducing characters who you've seen elsewhere, even Peacemaker, I'm like, where the fuck does Peacemaker fit in? Because we literally saw cats and kittens from the Snyderverse debacle, and I'm on record, I loathe the Snyderverse. I loathe it. I think it is a
You could barely
comical, thank goodness, it's a comical misstep, and I think that ultimately it originates from this place of like, well, they didn't get the source material to begin with. I am not the type of person like, well, this didn't happen like that in the comics. Fine, change origins, change backstories, combine them, which Lord knows Black Adam did. I have no problem with any of that. Where I do have a problem is you say, oh, this is the character, so to bring it full way around, and then I'll give it back to you to take it where you want to go. If we had come in and Black Adam was saving kittens from a tree, I would have said, no! I would have stood up and shouted in Midtown Manhattan and likely gotten locked right up. I would have shouted, no! Just like my heart did when Superman spun Zod's next 360. They didn't do that. So for all the changes, I feel they kept the character of Black Adam intact. He's an asshole. He's an asshole that most of the time he just does whatever he wants to do. Whether that lines up with what some heroes want him to do, or whether it lines up with some bad guys want him to do, or like would be kind of like nonplussed about it, doesn't really make a difference. They didn't go over the top trying to make him like a sympathetic Magneto type. Like, well, of course he was the worst tyrant in history. Look at what they did to his poor parents. They didn't do that. Like, they gave you just enough.
They were like, okay, look, his stunt double was his son, all juiced up. I thought that was awesome. Like, I love The Rock and like the people around him so much. When I saw that his Shazammed up, little son Black Adam was just his stunt double who's been I literally was like, yay! That was one of the highlights for the film for me, which probably misled that audience into the level of fun I was having. And I'm not saying that I didn't have fun, but there again, I like Harley Quinzel and her Emancipation Proclamation. I like the weird things they did with the Birds of Prey. I left this movie. I kind of want to talk about some of the things I really like. I don't want to get too specific because I do think this is a perfectly watchable flick. I don't think it's going to be anyone's favorite. I also feel like it's a film.
Do you think it's rewatchable? So you saw it in the theaters with the old lady. Comes on the HBO box. You're gonna watch it, right?
Yeah, I might be playing Rummy Cube on my phone, but I'm gonna look up. There are some great action sequences. My problem is did they?
Ruined.
Did they keep the script from 15 years ago? Because like the 90s sensibility.
They didn't even keep the script kid from the first day of filming.
The skateboard kid I was in shock that they were like, look at this cool kid sidekick and his cool mom. Are they going to be in the next one? Does like so wait, Shazam at the end of his first movie has 96 Shazams. Did Black Adam like adopt a new wife and kid? Like, what's happening? But I want to talk about some stuff I like that I don't think anyone else did.
All right.
I think Cyclone was a charmer. I think that actor, I think is stunning. I thought the visual effect they used for her was really cool. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone else gives a fuck about Cyclone though, but me. Had nothing to do in this movie.
But those characters are disposable, and I think by design.
Yeah, but why the fuck were they there then? we couldn't give that time to flesh out Black Adam a little more?
Move the plot along, man. Look, and that's the other thing that I didn't mind at all, the pacing of it. At no point was I checking my watch.
It was
like,
a dense 2 hours.
There, so.
It wasn't a boring 2 hours, to give it credit.
No. It moved. It certainly was action packed. It was a popcorn movie. It was a popcorn movie, which ultimately is really what anyone's expectation should really begin and end there. Where like your enjoyment of the flick is not interrupted or not cut into by your disappointment in the flick. With DC, and I love DC first and foremost, other than the USComics, naturally. For me, until they really show me something, and the closest that they've come hasn't even been Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is the second bite at the apple.
Yes.
That would have been my answer until Peacemaker got his own series, and I am not a huge fan of the He Who Shall Not Be Seen.
Are you trying to kill Ellis?
Listen, sorry, Ellis. You know I love you, buddy. However, that Peacemaker, the series, has been thus far my favorite DC anything on the screen.
It's not particularly close to me, and I'm a big fan of the Suicide Squad. But that again, it's always under the context of like
the
DC
Suicide
films
Squad or Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was good. It was
I
good
think,
as far as I was concerned. It was.
I think that's because James Gunn is fucking awesome. So thank God he's behind the helm. Maybe we can course correct some shit. But I want to talk about the one thing I fucking loved about this movie. And no, it wasn't the weird Ninth Armor magic mask, because that annoyed the fuck out of me. It wasn't even how much I was excited to see I love Hawkman. Hawkman is one of those characters that, like, for whatever reason, visually, I always think looks so fucking cool. Maybe it's because he's just rolling with wings and a fucking cool hammer.
As cool as Hawk Woman.
Not even
Hawk
close.
Girl, because she's a punk.
You
Hawk
know,
Woman is. Ooh,
you know what? You know what Hawkman has over Hawk Woman though? Branding. The fact that like the Hawk ship had his logo every 6 feet was the most Charlie move ever.
Dude,
first and first, mostly
police. If they're not branded up, nobody's pulling over.
John. Every headrest, front and back, every 6 foot panel, Hawkman logo, table, Hawkman logo. John, I was tickled so pink at how comic book accurate the ludicrous amount of his logo showing up
was maybe the most toyetic thing in that whole flick.
Bro, when the front came off to become a boat for that unnecessary ass scene where like Black Adam's locked up for 20 minutes. Like, first of all, the one thing I'll take away from Dr. Fate, motherfucker, maybe tell us about that future. Be like, we gonna need him in a half hour? Let's just have him Shazam the fuck back up.
I mean, Dr. Fate clearly is the Doctor Strange of this world, but like, now here's the thing. Ultimately, and as far as I'm concerned, and I realize I'm a bleeding heart, I totally get it. Dr. Fate taught everybody what true heroism
what true heroin is.
Whatever gets me through the day, Charlie. It's been rough, okay? Dr. Fate shows us if you love something, if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, that means ultimate sacrifice. That's heroism, right? It's not getting your own way, throwing mother suckers into pyramids right and left willy-nilly like pancakes.
They pushed this PG-13. Credit where credit's due. Credit?
Well,
credit where credit's due. Shuffle and succotash, John.
Charlie is talking like he just took a people's elbow to the face. But yeah, like to me, and to have that juxtaposition between attitudes made the storytelling better. Forget about movie, TV show, whatever, comic book. Black Adam is one of those characters that he consistently has to be shown the error of his ways, and he comes around.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand why that type of character would be fun to play. Where I take umbrage, like, oh, there's the most powerful. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's like half a dozen cats that I would put above you. So I think like if the attitude is if the attitude is not right in regards to the hierarchy of the characters of the toys that you're playing with, you're gonna mess it up. So I also am hopeful that James Gunn's gonna kind of right the ship and not let egos get too out of whack. And I think that's gonna maybe be more of a challenge because look, Black Adam's making money. At the end of the day, that's what matters to these suits. Money. Is it going to make money or is it not? How do we make more money? Who do we copy? Blah, 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 blah. So.
I am just, my butthole is puckered fully at the idea of them being like, well, Black Adam was so successful. Let's push up our timetable. Let's not do Man of Steel 2. Let's not even do a new Superman film. We're doing Black Adam v Superman, where they're going to, like, it makes me nauseous.
At least he's said as much that he's like, this is not going to be a tomorrow type of thing. And it was, again, spoilers. Superman's moment wasn't a like, let's step outside, fucko type of conversation either. Just want to talk.
I will say this. I am insane with how excited the costume being a little bit brighter on Superman, the spit curl being back.
Sure.
Those little things give me this false confidence in the future that only has ever hurt me. It almost never pans out, but here's hoping.
You're like a beat dog. You're like, hey, like you don't want to make eye
that's
contact.
That's because you and I used to play Rocky, where you would beat the shit out of me for 12 rounds, and I would miraculously win at the end.
Charlie, what can I tell you? Some people learn hard. That's not my fault. Don't blame the teacher, as you well know when you were walking me through Spirits Unleashed.
Speaking of Spirits Unleashed, I want to get back to that. But before we wrap up the show, what was your favorite thing about Black Adam? Because I want to leave it with positivity because I feel like it seems like I hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. I think it's perfectly acceptable. I hope it continues to do well. I still hope there's a big course correction in our cinematic DC universe.
Yeah,
while you think over
different topics, right?
I just want you to think about your favorite aspect of Black Adam. I'm going to give you a preview of one while you mull that over.
All right.
I'm not sure if you noticed in the opening credits, they said that this film features characters from DC. They dropped the comics. They just said DC.
Didn't I tell you I constantly get robbed every single week. I put more and more goodies out into the ether, and these mother-sucking suits are like,
John, you can
on John's ideas.
You can ask your mother. The movie hadn't even started, didn't even say Black Adam yet, and I was like, "We did it!
That's what I do,
we did it!"
I'm the original influencer. Okay,
I believe it. What was your favorite part of Black Adam?
Dr. Fate and how he do. So again, spoiler alert, Dr. Fate is and always will be that cat who is willing to jump on the grenade like Cap throws around so willy-nilly, and he didn't even need no secret soldier, super soldier serum to do it. Now luckily, Dr. Fate is more than just an individual. And the version that we got, the 007 version that we got, has indeed been doing it a long time. This was the one and only time that the evaporating trick on a helmet is acceptable to John, because we know that the helmet, which is indeed the source of power, magical power, is destined to find a new host, much like the Green Lantern's ring. So yeah, Dr. Fate, the way that he was handled, that message, and the what I do as opposed to what I say, message of like, this is what true heroism is. It's sacrifice. And very rarely do you get the ticker tape parade down fucking, down Midtown. So
yeah.
That was my absolute favorite thing. I think it was handled beautifully. And that's with the fact of our big blue Boy Scout showing up at the very, very end into consideration. Dr. Fate, number one for me.
For me, I know DC has made it very clear that their intention is to move away from some of the to move away from some of these secondary characters. But I think what we proved with the JSA was there's a billion second, third, and fourth tier characters that absolutely you could put on that big screen and could put a giant smile on my face. I hope we get a Hawkman, maybe Finding Hawkwoman movie. I'd be all in. Absolutely. Give me a Dr. Fate movie, either as a prequel or whoever holds on to that helm next. I know
Mantle.
unpopular opinion. You have the goatee for it. Not for nothing. You could throw that gold dome on. I also thought Atom Smasher and Cyclone were perfectly fine. I'd watch them do more stuff. I had a really, really good time with what I consider flawed material, but that's how I watch most superhero movies. But my dear brother, there's only one thing left to do before we fire up our virtual proton packs, and that's first we gotta turn the power on. Then we gotta turn the volume up. Then we gotta tune Bad Mary in. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. Save me, space girl. We are.
Everybody wants to get drunk in the buzzing.